guys, welcome back to the channel, and as you can see, this is another Motivational Mondays video. And in Motivational Mondays video, you try and take some problems and find some motivational solutions to it. Now in this week's Motivational Mondays video, we are going to see the expectations versus reality. Let us start with what is expectation and what is reality. But before that, if you are new around this channel, then please make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video if you all like this, if you really like the video, and press the bell icon so that you get notified whenever we post a video. Now let us start with expectation versus reality. Now, what is expectation? Well, expectation is the strong beliefs that one places on something, whether it would happen, it will or should happen. Well, what is reality then? Well, reality is what is really happening or the real scenario. Well, let us take an example over here. If you see outside and the clouds are darkening and you expect it should rain, well, that is expectation. But the reality can be anything. It can rain or it cannot. So there are certain boundaries that are placed when you expect something and it actually happens or not. Let us see what are the problems faced when you start expecting something, or let us see what are the problems of expectation and reality. You can classify the problems which are faced on the expectations and reality into different scenarios. There are certain scenarios where you are expected onto something or where you expect someone to do something. Well, certain scenarios like a parent-child scenario, a teacher-student scenario, or a society-citizen scenario are some certain cases that you can see where expectations are played into a role. Well, let us take the first case, which is a parent-child scenario. Well, the parents expect certain qualities from their children. Certain qualities like discipline, being expressive or communicative, as well as being giving respect to the parents and studying well. These are some common expectations that the parents placed on their children. Well, as for the child's expectations on their parents, well, if you are a child, then you already know the expectations that you have on your parent. So this should not be very complicated. So there are certain expectations that a teacher has on their student. Well, a teacher has some similar expectation to their parent. So the teacher has some expectations like the student should be disciplined, the student should study well, the student should focus more on or concentrate more on the studies. The student should be well mannered, and the student should also communicate well with the teacher, and the student should also place some respect on the teacher. These are some common attributes or common expectations that the teachers expect on their student. Well, there are certain qualities or certain expectations of the society on citizens. This is also an expectation scenario. The society expects the citizen to be a responsible citizen, and it wants the citizen to be following the rules and regulations so that there will be a peaceful environment, and there are many other expectations that the society places on the citizens. But we should remember that the citizen also places some expectations on the society. Now let us start seeing some examples over here. Well, certain examples like your parent wanting you to do some work or wanting you to get up at this time in the morning plays a very important role on their expectation on you to be disciplined. Well, an example like Swachh Bharat plays a very important role on the expectations of the society on the citizens. Well, if you take this scenario of the Swachh Bharat, then the society expects you to keep your place clean. That is the expectation of the society on the citizen. Well, if you take the expectation of the teacher on the student, then the teacher expects the student to get good marks. Well, this expectation is actually the basis of the teacher, whether the teacher has taught you very well or not. Well, these are the basic scenarios where there are certain people expecting you to do certain things and you expecting certain people to do certain things. Well, let us move on to a short story explaining this very scenario of expectation and reality.
He is Ajay, a student. He is being asked some questions by his teacher.
Ajay, if I am giving these apples to you, how many would you have in total?
Ma'am, I will be having 4 apples with me.
The teacher again repeats the question and Ajay gives the same reply. The teacher thought maybe Ajay doesn't like apples and replaced apples with mangoes in the question.
Ajay, listen to me carefully. Think and then answer. If I am giving these mangoes to you, how many would you have in total?
Ma'am, I will have 3 mangoes with me.
Good. Now let me test him with these peaches. Ajay, if I am giving you these peaches, how many would you have in total?
Ma'am, 3 peaches.
Now the teacher is convinced that Ajay has understood well and again replaces the peaches with those apples and asks him the same question, expecting his answer will be 3 apples.
Ajay, now I am giving you these apples. Can you answer me? How many apples will you have in total?
Ma'am, 4 apples.
The teacher got confused and a little bit irritated at the same time.
Ajay, when I gave you the mangoes, you said you will have 3 mangoes. When I gave peaches, you said you will have 3 peaches. But when I'm giving the same number of apples, why do you say that you have 4 apples when there are only 3 apples here?
Ma'am, that's because I already have one apple in my bag which my mom gave me in the morning. So the apples that you gave me along with the one I already have will make it 4 in total. So I gave you that answer.
The teacher is surprised by his answer as she did not expect this at all. Moral: always our expectations may not be real.
Now, as I've already told you, certain people have certain expectations on certain others. Well, if it is your parent or your teacher, then the only expectations they are going to have are a very few ones. Well, the expectations are only for your benefit. Certain expectations like being disciplined, respecting others, communicating well are going to be of your only your use and your benefit in the future. Well, you should not disregard the expectations from your parents or your teachers on you. But it is not wrong for you to have certain expectations on them as well. Well, let us take this scenario of your 10th and 12th board exams. Certain people have certain expectations on you and you have certain expectations on others as well. If you think that your parents have certain expectations on you to perform, you should have performed well in the exam, or you have already performed well in the exam and you could not have already fulfilled their expectations in a very well manner, then don't worry. It is their nature to have certain expectations on their child so that he or she can improve in their future. There are certain factors that involve in expectation that involves in your expectation. Well, let us take an example. Let me take an example of me giving an exam. Well, if I want to give an exam, I have set a certain bar of 60%. I have to score 60% in the exam and I am capable of scoring 60%. Now my parent wants me to score 80%. Now my society expects me to score 90%. But this peer pressure, this thing called peer pressure, where I focus on my friends or my neighbors, and my neighbors have already scored 98% in that exam and I also expect to score 98% in that same exam. Well, these are all the factors that come into play when you set your expectations into a certain scenario. Well, you should not be changing your expectations according to theirs. You should be placing expectations only according to what you are able to do. Well, let us see that thing. Let us see how to bring your expectations into reality and how exactly can you set your expectations. Well, the first point is that you should always dance better than yourself. Well, this saying is very popular because this says that you have to set your expectations only based on yourself. You should see what you have performed already, you should analyze that performance and you have to set the expectations for the next action based on that previous performance. Well, this ensures that you are not over expecting something. Well, sometimes over expecting can lead to disappointment. So in order to avoid that disappointment, you have to analyze the certain situation that you are given with and you should expect something that you really can do. Now, as of your second point, you should this concerns the first point as well. You should set your expectations based on your strengths and capabilities. Well, analyzing your strength and capability is a very important part in setting your expectations. Well, if I am to give an exam and you already know that you haven't prepared for that exam very well, then there is no point in keeping your expectations very high for the result of that exam. Well, if I am going to give a math exam and I haven't prepared very well, or if I had a fever before appearing to that exam, now I can place my expectations to be 90% or 95% for the exam when I know that I only have appeared for 60% of the questions of that exam. Well, this is exactly what you have to keep in mind, that you have to gauge your own strengths and capabilities and also consider your weaknesses when setting your expectations. Don't set your expectations too high or too low. In the end, you should not force your expectations on others. Well, you don't know what the other person has in their mind. You always can't know what the other person wants you to do or what you want the other person to do until you communicate with them. Well, let us take an example over here. Now, I want someone else to do the work for me, but that person does not want to do that work. Now, if I expect that person to do that work and he does not want to do that work, then I will end up in a disappointment that he or she does not do that work very well or does not do that certain action. Well, this is a general example. Now, the next point is work for your expectations. There is a common misconception that if you set your expectations, then automatically your work gets done. That is not the case. Well, if you want a certain work to be done, then if you keep your expectations, then you have to work for it. Well, let me take an example over here. Now, if I want to get 60% in my exam, or if I want to even get 90% in my exam, then I want to work for it. Well, that is a popular saying that everything has its price. you have to pay the price to get it. Well, if I want to score 90%, then I have to put the effort, and even if I want to score 60%, then I have to put that much effort into it. Well, you get what you pay. So you get how much ever the effort you put, you get the result for that. So the next point is going to be accept the unexpected. Even if all these points does not work for you, or the things that you expect are not being fulfilled and you end up being disappointed, then always see to that you accept the unexpected. So anything can go wrong, or anything can happen when you expect something. So as I've already told you, expectation is a 50% chance. So either it can happen, either it can fulfill, or it cannot fulfill. So you should also be certain of this other part. It can either fulfill, it cannot fulfill as well. So if this part happens, then you should not worry. You should move on and go on to other works or other actions, and you can also keep expectations on your other works. So based on what expectations you keep in this certain task, you have to gauge that situation and keep your lower or higher your expectation on the next one. Now this video is just my attempt on trying to bring your expectations to reality. Well, that was the motive of this video, and if you like the video, then please give a like to this video and subscribe to the channel, and make sure to press the bell icon so that you stay notified to whatever videos we post. So see you guys in the next video with more content in this Motivational Monday. See you guys.